Let's welcome to the show David Banks. David is an Olympic rower, competed in the United States Olympic Games in 2008. He's now project manager for Panko Builders in Oakland, California. Hey, David, welcome to the show.
Great. How you doing, Bill? Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, tell us about your experience representing the United States in the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's first, foremost, it was sort of definitely it's an honor to do that. I mean, it was, it's like anything that you want to do or you devote yourself to. Sometimes it's a little bit of a journey. I didn't grow up. I grew up watching the Olympics. I loved it. I loved, watching track and field, right? And you see the dream team, basketball team, and all of that. But I had no idea about rowing or even like the water very much. So I started sort of late in life. I actually ended up starting, learning about the sport as a freshman when I walked on in college. I went to Stanford University. On the plane ride out, if you told me I would end up rowing, there's a 99.999% chance that wouldn't have happened. But just how life happens, right? The first week there, I grew up playing basketball in the track and field, and I had these hoop dreams, right? And even, maybe like a Rudy dream where you're, the manager on the basketball team, right? You get called up or something like that. But as fate would have it, first week I was there at school, there was a free dinner offered to go to this rowing walk-on meeting. I said, well, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, it kind of changed the trajectory of my life. So I just kind of started slow. Said, okay, I'll try it for a day, a week, a month, semester, a year, and it kind of went like that. Just kind of sort of slowly fell in love with it. For me, it was kind of sort of the simplicity of the sport, for all the work you put in, you could see that result come out of it. And it just kind of fed a fire in me that I kind of just kept pushing and finding kind of new limits. Ultimately, long road led me to have the chance to even, to try to attempt to be on the Olympic team. Very fortunate and tried to make the best of it and, kept kind of plugging along and opportunities came up and happened. And I was fortunate to make the 2008. And then after that, went back and just wanted to do it again. Still had the fire inside me. And so made it back to 2012 in London. Shortly after that, I moved on. But yeah, it was an amazing opportunity, amazing experience. You're there and really hits you. You're representing more than just yourself or your school, right? Your family, your coaches, teammate, everybody, and the whole country behind you, and people who just don't have that opportunity, and felt very, kind of on a mission to represent them.
Indeed, it's such a massive event. To be a part of that has to be just such a unique experience. But also, when we think about rowing, it's so cool to see rowers, whether they're by themselves rowing or with the team. We also hear about rowing just from a physical fitness standpoint, David. It's one of the best exercises, they say. It has the ability, if we practice with even a stationary rower, that we can stay in pretty good shape. I would think you would agree with that, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've got, I thought it was in good shape. I ran track, like I said, and played basketball, but then it got me into a sort of a whole new level. It's a complete body workout. A lot of times there may be some confusion between rowing or canoeing, but in rowing, all the movement comes from your legs, and then your arms kind of transfer that power, and then so you're working your whole body, your heart, you work your heart really well. So every minute you're on there, you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck. And you're exactly right. When you're you can do it by yourself. You can go all the way up to 8 people. So in Beijing, I was in a boat with 4 other people. 3 other guys. So it was a boat of 4. And then in London, I was in a boat of 8, plus the small coxswain. This guy steers it like a little jockey. So it's a unique sport, right? A lot of other sports, right? On a basketball team, right? I could go out there, we could lose by 50, but say, hey, I scored 50. I still got my 50 points. You kind of could still maybe make a case as, you're a superstar, but in a boat and rowing, you're literally all in it together, right? You literally win or lose together. And that whole process, you really develop a unique bond, and it's, it can really have some incredible experiences out there in the water when all these pieces come together and click, and you kind of moving as one. And it's a unique sport in that and what it can offer. And that's what I kind of just fell in love with, and just kind of like I said, sort of fed that fire.
And give us an idea, as you mentioned, rowing with 8. Right there, I'm picturing that. I just saw some footage, too, over the weekend. But rowing with eight, what is that feeling and what kind of speeds? I mean, everything's synchronized. Every detail
Yeah.
it comes into play
Hmm.
when you're competing on such a level as the Olympics. And
Hmm.
what does that feel and the power and speed of eight people rowing in harmony? What was that feeling like?
It's kind of it's an amazing kind of an amazing experience when all that power. I mean, in those 8 races, it's a loud event. There's just so much noise, right? You have people grunting and yelling and splashing and screaming, and like I said, there's a coxswain who's at the rowing us backwards, right? So we're looking backwards, but we're going forwards, obviously. So the coxswain's at the stern, the back of the boat. So they're yelling, and there's lots of yelling and screaming, and you can feel all that power, right? Because like you said, that's 8 bodies moving back and forth, right? So you say an average of 200 pounds a rower, right? You add that up by 8 people, that's 1,600 pounds going back and forth, and you can feel that movement. So I was in the bow of the boat, and it's kind of it's the front, but it's a little bit back. You think you're in the backwards a little bit, but you can feel all that power weight coming to you. So you just kind of it's kind of just trying to ride like you're trying to ride this this big machine almost moving, and just kind of learning how to flow with it, right? And kind of learn you flow with the movement, and keep the boat going, and keep it moving in as sync as possible. So it's a unique feeling when you really get in there, and you really one of the first experiences you really feel that. I think that's what people kind of fall in love with, right? It's all these pieces coming together, and when they all come together, it's a difficult sport. Like all sports are difficult, or anything you do at a high level can be difficult, but when you really get all those pieces working together, you kind of get in that zone, right? You always hear about that, athletes talk about, but when you're doing that, as 8 people as one, it's like all that effort is, you just feel it, and you're making something great out of it in a sense, right? And it's sort of a beautiful feeling.
Well,
Really
actually,
feel that. Yeah.
we're talking with David Banks, Olympic rower and businessman, right in California. But as you
Hmm.
say that, all the pieces coming together, working for Stewart Title and doing this radio show, talking to realtors all the time, all those
Hmm.
pieces in a real estate transaction coming together. It's a
Exactly.
lot like
Exactly.
sports. There's no
It
doubt about
is.
it.
It is. Yeah.
Give us an idea what you learned to have the mindset to compete in the Olympics and how that's helped you in business, and maybe some things that our realtors that are listening and other people listening to the show. What are some of the things that learned that you're carrying with you through life now as far as the discipline and being able to achieve the goals that you're going for?
Yeah. No, that's a really great point. Again, I think the sport kind of taught me so many lessons from day one, from when I started and all the way through. I think one of the biggest things is, things I've learned is just kind of a little bit of that, kind of that perseverance, and that failure, and just kind of you have to be present. You have to show up. You have to be there every day. And especially in a sport like rowing, right? If you're in a boat with 8 or 4 people, however many, if you don't show up, right, that there's other people that are counting on you, right? So you really develop a sense of accountability, right? And even in it, you'll talk to any rower, right? You're in a boat. It's not like you're in there and it's going bad. You don't have this feeling like, oh, it's that person's fault or their fault. You really start to feel a sense of, hey, I want to contribute to something that's kind of bigger than myself. You get a big sense of that. And early on, I got a dose of, if I really put effort into it, I can see there's results. Like, and if I show up every day and I'm present, good things will happen, and I've had that so many times where you keep showing up, you have your good days, your bad days, right? But if I kept telling myself, and I learned the hard way, that if I show up, I'll have a great, at some point there will be an opportunity there, right? And hopefully if you're present and you're there and you've been putting in work the right way, I believe that good things will happen, and it may be not. In my case, it was always times in the sport when I didn't expect it, and that's taught me a lot. Yeah, anything kind of dealing with challenging, projects or things in life. It's never smooth sailing the whole way through. You're always going to hit some kind of road bump or something here, or mistakes or whatever, right? And taught me to really, never get too high, never get too low. You really try to stay the course, and focus on that next thing that you have to do, and then kind of keep moving forward and keep showing up, keep being present, keep putting yourself forward, with integrity in everything you're doing, right? And working as a team, and all these pieces come together. And I'm a believer that good things will happen. You will get to that finish line, even if it doesn't seem like it, or it seems dark, or you're in business or projects or things aren't going well. It's really taught me to just kind of really stay the course, sort of trust that process, do it right. At some point, I believe that some good things will happen.
And give us a quick word. And for all of us that as we approach, let's say, an important event, whether it's real estate related or something else where a lot is on the line, give us I'm just now thinking of what you might have thought and your teammates would have thought right before as you enter the boat and you're getting ready. It's the Olympics. I mean, it's a big deal. You want to win, and you want to give it all you have and have the culmination of all the training and dedication and sweat and tears and all that. What were you thinking and others when you get in the boat and you're ready to start? Is there a moment of silence, or what happens?
I think what you really try to do is you really try to almost compartmentalize everything. You really, what's helped me is just really focusing on that next step in time where I'm at, always having a picture, eye to the bigger picture, right? Never losing sight of that, but always kind of trying to, okay, what do I have to do? What am I doing now? Okay, what's the next step? And you learn it the hard way. I remember early on, you're doing these workouts. I think I was a freshman or sophomore in college, and, it's the fall, right? The main competing season's in the spring. And, I was killing myself with these hard workouts. In my mind, I was like, how can I do this every day for the next, 7-8 months, right? And then you start to think like that, and then your mind kind of goes down a bad path, and then you hit a rough patch. So, you learn to teach yourself, okay, what's the next thing I have to, obviously you're looking to that big picture, right? But you're saying, okay, I can't focus on that down there. I just focus on that next thing in front of me. Then the next practice and the next stroke. And so that's what I've tried to teach myself. So you're coming into a big race or something. Okay, I'm going to focus. Here's my day. The race is at 5, right? Okay, you have to wake up. You have to do those things. You have to eat. You go out for a morning row. You do all these step by step and focus on the next thing, the next thing. And it's kind of like a race, right? If you're in a race, a rowing race is 2,000 meters. So it's 2,000 meters straight shot. It's about 1.25 miles. You start from this dead stop, and then you go to like this full sprint, and then you kind of come back a little bit, and then you kind of sprint again, right? But if I'm at that start line and I'm thinking about the last quarter of the race or whatever it is, right, I'll miss that first stroke, and then you're done, right? So I try to teach myself, okay, in a boat, everyone, okay, that you work progressively through it, right? I can't think about that end. I can't think about a boat next to me or left of me, all this splashing or yelling. You got to really focus in on that person in front of you, that guy or man or woman in front of you, and just do the next thing, the next stroke. And it really teaches you that through hard lessons, right? That, you fail, you do a little better, you fail, but then you get it, right? And you kind of keep moving. And it's kind of taught me as I'm going through, other things in life to kind of do it that same kind of way and keep trying to get better at it. But that's one of the biggest things that helped me.
We also want to tell people that they will have the opportunity to see you as you're going to be here in Houston September 9th. September 9th. We want to thank Teresa Strong. She's the executive director and founder with Bel Inizio, and that means in Italian, beautiful beginning. It's a nonprofit group helping disadvantaged women. But David Banks is going to be right there at the Cadillac Bar, and that is at 1802 Shepherd Drive. You can go to the website Inizio, INIZIO.org, or just Google that. It'll come up September 9th. You'll be able to hear David speak. Also, there'll be a silent auction. And David, it's going to be great to see you there here in Houston. It's going to be hot and humid, so forget the nice weather you may be enjoying right now.
Yeah, no, I'm very honored to be able to speak to the Bel Inizio team and group. It's an incredible work that they're doing. Help others, give them a chance, right? And I think it's great when you try to, you do something and you build a community and build a goal for it. It's all those things. It doesn't need to be the Olympics or this or that. We all have our things, and they're powerful in so many ways. And how they can help empower women who maybe going through hard times or other things. I think it's really it's an incredible thing. So I'm very honored to be a part of it. I'm as I've moved on in the rowing world, I'm not really competing anymore, but I'm definitely aware of the opportunities that I had, and that so many out there don't have. So a lot of my efforts now, in the sport are focused on trying to get those opportunities to other folks. Rowing is it's a sport that's not a very diverse sport, and it's for various reasons and opportunity and access. So there's a few groups that I'm a part of. A good friend of mine, his name is Arshay Cooper. He is a gentleman from Chicago, and he was on an all-black high school rowing team back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And he made a great documentary you should really check out called A Most Beautiful Thing. it's kind of about his story and some of his other teammates and what they're going through. So I'm a part of. He developed a fund to that to help give to other programs and groups around the country. It's called a Most Beautiful Thing Inclusion Fund. So that's one big thing that I'm a part of, and really enjoying some of the work that I'm doing now, professionally, and trying to develop and have new skills and keep growing and keep trying to provide value in terms of whatever I'm doing. So,
well, once again, people can see you and hear you September 9th at the Cadillac Bar right here in Houston, Texas. The organization is called Bel Inizio. And just go to their website, bel-inizio.org. And in a way, David, as I'm thinking about rowing, by the way, as I mentioned, I just got a rowing machine coincidentally before talking to you last week. But in a way, we wake up every morning and we get in our boat and we row. That's life.
You do, yeah.
And, well, thank you so much for being on the show, ladies and gentlemen, David Banks. David, we'll look forward to seeing you here in Houston.
Great. Thanks so much for having me this morning.
Thank you.